and cooperative. So public sector, that means assets of production owned and operated by government agencies. Can you give me an example of a public sector? Public sector company. Please give me an example of public sector company. Am I audible to you? Am I
Yes,
audible?
sir.
Okay. Well, answer me then.
Yes, sir.
Please speak properly. Give me the answer.
Sir, net problem is there.
Uh, Net problem is there? Who has net problem? Who is having
Yeah.
net? Anyway, okay. My question is, give me an example of public sector. Public sector company. Indian Railway, Steel Authority of India Limited, Gas Authority of India Limited, Bharat Heavy Electrics Limited, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, State Bank of India. Yes, those are the examples of public sector. Next, private sector. Private sector, that means industries owned and operated by individuals. Individual means person, family, or a group, right? Company, what we call private company. So example of private company, Tata Steel Limited, as well as Tata Consultancy Service Limited, Tata Chemicals Limited. Sorry? No, Amul is cooperative society. Cooperative. Bajaj Auto Limited, right? Honda Motors India Limited. Those are examples of private sector companies. Next, joint sector. Joint sector means owned by government as well as private, both together. So, government as well as individual, that is called joint sector. Like Oil India Limited, OIL, is jointly owned by public as well as private sector. Next, fourth one here, cooperative sector. Cooperative sector owned and operated by the producers or suppliers. Producers and suppliers of raw material. For an example, like sugar industry. Sugar industry, even in Gujarat, mainly owned and operated by those farmers and suppliers only. So they sell their raw materials to the company, their factory, as well as they produce goods. Means they convert sugar cane into sugar, right? So they are the supplier, they are the producer, and the manufacturers as well. So together farmers and suppliers gather and establish factory. So the similar like Amul is also that federation of milk producers. So those suppliers in the beginning together, they started business of milk supply to different areas. This is how the Amul was established, right? So this type of industry is called cooperative industries. Now last one, based on bulk and weight of raw material and finished goods. Here about bulk and weight. Many industries they use heavy raw materials, bulky raw materials, and their finished goods also bulky, heavy. And some of the industries they use raw materials that lightweight, and their finished products are also lighter. For an example, we can take iron and steel, right? For iron and steel industry, raw materials utilized by the industry are main iron ore, limestone, coal. So all are actually heavy raw material, and finished goods, iron and steel products like rod or sheets, which are heavier as well.
Sir,
Yes,
sir,
yes, speak up.
what is about ONGC?
Oil and Natural Gas Commission is a
What
public
is about?
sector. Public sector. Public sector. It's
Sir, it is not a government sector.
Public sector, that means government sector. Public sector, that means government sector. It is called owned by public, owned by state, or owned by government. That's ultimately same, right? Those are synonyms used in different languages, different
Yes,
area.
sir.
Ultimately, that is public sector. Formally, we utilize word public sector. That is our formal word. But it is also known as like owned by government, government company. Also called that owned by state. State means by nation. Got it? Okay. So we are talking about heavy industries such as iron and steel. This industry utilizes actually heavy raw material, bulky raw material, and finished goods also heavier, bulkier. And lightweight industries like mobile phone, electronic industries, they use raw material not heavy but lightweight and similar. Their finished products like mobile phone and electronic gadgets, etc. Those items are also lightweight. So on the based on bulk and weight of raw material and finished goods, heavy industries and light industries. So here we have seen a classification of industries. Now here next we are going to discuss about those different types of industries in detail. Like first in classification, first criterion we have seen on the basis of source of raw material, agro based industries and mineral based industries. So similar like that, following criterion we will discuss in detail. So let's start with agro based industries. So which industries do you consider as agro based industries? Name them. Boys, are you sleeping?
No, sir. The fertilizers company.
Fertilizer company. Alright, in fertilizer company, what will you use as raw material? Suppose you want to set up a fertilizer company. What kind of raw material required for you?
Chemicals.
Exactly. So that is mineral base. Right? Chemical mainly from mineral, from petroleum and other minerals. So that is mineral based industry. We are talking about agro based industry.
Sir, sugar cane factory.
Sugar industry, yes. Sugar is of course agro based industry. More
Rubber.
rubber, tires and tubes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Main raw materials we can. There's actually both mineral and agro. But yes, we can consider. Most important, where main raw
Cotton.
materials we use.
Cotton.
Yes, cotton textile. We can count, yeah, cotton textile, cotton ginning can, jute, silk, woolen textiles, right? So those textile industries which use natural fiber, textile industries with natural fiber, sugar, edible oil, oil we use cooking oil, right? Those industries are agro based industries. They utilize
Agro-based industry.
agricultural products as their main raw material. We focus that main raw material. Got it? Otherwise, in one or another way, agricultural product can be used in different types of industries. But here we are talking about their main raw material. Alright, so let's begin first. Textile industry. The textile industry occupies unique position in Indian economy. Why is it unique? Because it contributes significantly to industrial production. 14% of total industrial production provided by textile industry. More employment generation. We know that for countries like India, employment is the most important factor. So this textile industry provides 30 employment to 35 million people. Textile industry provides employment to 35 million people, which is second after agriculture. So for India, this textile industry is important for providing employment, for employment generation. This is second after agriculture. Okay, more. Next, we have seen in importance of industries that for earning foreign currency, foreign exchange. So it earns 24.6%. 26 point. I'm sorry, pardon. 24.6% foreign currency textile industry earns. It contributes 4% of total GDP. It contributes 4% of total GDP, which is very remarkable. It is the only industry in the country which is self-reliant and complete in value chain. From raw material to the highest value added product, it uses that agriculture products as raw material, self-reliant. To understand this cotton textile industry or textile industry, let's check value chain here. I hope you are here with textbook in your hand. Do you have textbook?
Yes.
Are you sure? I
Yes.
don't think so. All of you have textbook. So let me give the solution. Okay. Is it visible to you, boys?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Visible?
Yes, sir.
All right. So this is value chain of textile industry. Textile, it can be cotton or silk or jute, right? So first, fiber production, fiber as raw material. In cotton textile industry, cotton fiber as raw material, cotton as raw material, but directly we can't use the cotton. So first stage after it, after getting fiber, that is spinning.
Mining.
Yeah, spinning of cotton. By spinning, we get yarn like thread. Yarn like thread, right? So thread, that yarn, we use in third stage for weaving cloth, weaving and knitting cloth. And by weaving, we make fabric. Next, raw fabric, but the raw fabric sometimes mostly in white color, colorless, without design and print. So next step is dyeing, giving color,
Dyeing and finishing.
yes, dyeing and finishing of fabric, and that fabric now we can use for stitching. So by stitching, by cutting and stitching, we convert that fabric into garment, into cloth. That is garment manufacturer, and this is the value addition in the textile industry. So here actually 85 rupees per kilogram cotton or other yarn. Here let's talk about that cotton fiber. Raw cotton around 50 rupees per kilo. And here if we talk about fiber, 85 rupees per kilo. When we get in the last stage garment, when we make a shirt out of it, that same shirt with the market price of more than 1000 rupees. This is called value addition. So in each stage value increases. Got this?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's continue further.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let's discuss about cotton textile specific. In ancient India, cotton textile were produced with hand spinning and handloom weaving techniques. Hand spinning like Gandhi's charkha splendor.
Yes, sir. Charkha.
Yes, Gandhi's
Charkha, sir.
splendor.
Yes,
Similar like of splendor for spinning. And handloom machine, you know that by pushing and pulling wood.
Yes, sir. By
Those-
pushing and pulling, they are
Yes,
making yarn
it
cloth.
was that old technique, right, in ancient India. But after 18th century, power looms came into use. When industrialization began in Europe, new machines were invented, and power looms were one of them. Our traditional industries suffered a setback during a colonial period because they could not compete with the mill-made cloth from England. Uh, we know that nationalism in India, you people had learned about it, right? Adoption of khadi.
Yes, sir.
Gandhiji insisted to wear khadi, right, and boycott foreign goods. So mainly foreign goods from Britain, England, mill made. Yes, mill made. Cheaper, right? Because machine made cotton and Indian industry that got set back that time. This you remember. As the first successful textile mill in India, before those weaving works and the spinning works were done in their home only, workers, weavers' home. But in 1854, the first successful textile mill was established in Mumbai. So, two things remember: first successful textile mill established in Mumbai in the year 1854.
Yes, sir.
Got it?
1850.
1854, yes. And then after during the First World War and the Second World War, India was a British colony, and there was demand for cloth due to war. They were needed cloth. So UK and some other country needed cloth. So UK from Britain, they ordered Indian industrialists, Indian textile industry to provide them raw material. That also mentioned in the nationalism in India, right? So this gave a boost to the development of cotton textile industry in India. Now, if we talk about that recent time, as on 30 November 2011, there are 1946 cotton and human made fiber textile mill in the country. Total number of textile mills in the year 2011, 1946. Not only cotton but artificial fiber as well, nylon, polyester. How many mills were there? 1946 on the basis of 2011 data available to us. And about 80% of this in the private sector. 80% of this 1946 cotton mills in private sector, and remaining 20% in either public sector or cooperative sector. Apart from this, there are several thousand small factories are there, very small factories, they rent house, put few looms, and weaver there do their work. So with the 4 to 10 looms within one building. Such kind of industries are there in India as well, even in Surat too. In the recent years, the cotton textile industry was concentrated in cotton growing belt of Maharashtra and Gujarat. Why so? Cotton textile industries are concentrated in Maharashtra, Gujarat belt. Why so? Let's see the reasons. Because first of all, availability of raw material, raw cotton.
Availability of raw cotton.
Yes, if you remember, we have seen in the chapter agriculture. Bharuch region is well known for cotton growing area. Remember?
Yes, sir. Yes.
No,
Yes, sir.
Bharuch is well known, but apart from Bharuch, that is actually entire belt is famous for cotton growing, right? From Maharashtra to Bharuch.
Yes.
So here in this area, raw cotton is available. Second, markets are there due to many city here. Transportation facilities available, even ports are also there, right? Railway, roadways as well as ports also there.
Seaways.
Yes, seaways, that's I call ports. More labors are here available, skilled and unskilled both. Climate is here moderate and moist climate, which is ideal for cotton textile industry. Yarns do not break easily due to moist climate. So those are the reasons, and that is why here localization of cotton textile industry. Last time we have seen that location of industry. So those factors affecting for the localization of cotton textile industry. This industry has close link with agriculture and provides a living to farmers. Of course, here in Bharuch district I am talking about, most of the farmers they grow cotton, and their livings actually depend on cotton. Apart from the farmers, laborers like cotton ball plunkers, as well as workers, those who are engaging ginning, spinning, weaving, dyeing, designing, packaging, tailoring, right? So this industry gives opportunity to different people, from farmers to different labors, skilled labors, different professionals as well. The industry, by creating demands, supports many other industry. Here, as you know that this industry supports other industries as well, like chemical industry, because chemical,
Transport.
sorry, transport, yes,
Transport
transport,
industry.
chemical and dyes, color, mill stores, warehouses, packaging of materials, engineering works, transportation, as you said. So this industry supports many other industries. More, while spinning continues to be centralized in Maharashtra, Gujarat, and Tamil Nadu, weaving is highly decentralized to provide scope for incorporating traditional skills and design of weaving in cotton, as well as silk, zari, embroidery, etc. India has world class production in spinning. India has world class production in spinning, but
Yes, sir.
weaving
Yes.
supplies low quality of fabric. Why?
Yes.
It can be like 3 mark question or 1 mark question, reason and assertion. So answer here, mainly high quality of yarn we export to different countries like Japan, USA, UK, Singapore. To different countries we export high quality of yarn, and for our local industry, either low quality of yarn they use, or sometime low quality of yarn we export, cheap yarn we import from countries like China. So here
China.
local industries, they do not have high quality of yarn. So ultimately their finished product, their their textile fabric is comparatively low. So here weaving is done by handloom, power loom in mills. Less portion by handloom, most of by the power looms. The handspun khadi, khadi you know, right? Again, khadi provides
Yes, sir.
large scale employment to weavers in their home as cottage industry. That is why Mahatma Gandhi insisted to adopt khadi, right? Mainly for employment, as well as that Swadeshi,
Handmade clothes.
Atmanirbhar and Swadeshi, make in India and self,
Handmade clothes.
huh? And Atmanirbhar both together
Handmade
in one.
clothes.
More, India exports yarn to Japan, as well as USA, UK, Russia, France, East European countries, Nepal, Singapore, Sri Lanka, and African countries. In these countries, we export yarn. India has second largest installed capacity of splinters in the world. After China, we are second with the 43.13 million splinters we have according to 2010-11. Sorry, 11-12. Since the mid 80s, the spinning sector has received a lot of attention. Why? Let's see the challenges. We have large share in the world trade of cotton yarn, accounting for one fourth of the total trade. However, our trade in the garment is only 4%. So, uh, we are like not smart enough because we export raw material and where developed countries like Japan and other they use our raw material or yarn, they make fabric and they sell at higher price in the market. And what we do, we export cotton fiber only and yarn. So here our spinning mills are competitive at the global level, spinning mills. But weaving, knitting and processing unit cannot use much of high quality yarn that is produced in a country like I just said few minutes back. Most of high quality of yarn that we export. So we don't have much good quality of yarn for our local industries. Right. More in this segment our mills are actually that fragmented into small unit and they only cover local market, right? More here we have lacking of technology. We don't have latest technology of machines in our mills. So those machines need to be upgraded. As a result, many of spinners export cotton yarn, and while apparel garment manufacturers have to import fabric. Although we have made significant increase in the production of good quality long staple cotton, 356 lakh bales of 170 kg each during 2011-12. Recently, I visited that Kutch, two ports, Mundra and Kandla, regarding this cotton bales. I visited warehouses. So lakhs of cotton bales they are storing nowadays, and later they will export. Power supply is erratic in India, and machinery need to be upgraded in weaving and processing sector. Other problems are the low output of labor and stiff competition with the synthetic fiber industry. So those are the challenges actually faced by cotton textile industry in India. With this,